Wonder why men seem to hate you when you try your absolute best, but they absolutely love you when you don't try at all? Well, that's not an accident, but here's what's interesting. If you understand why doing less makes men desire you more, then you can do it all the time so all of the men are on their knees for you. So here are 5 reasons why men love women who don't try hard. And with this knowledge, you'll be able to attract whichever man your heart desires. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating with everyone. Okay, good to see all you beautiful people. Today, I told you guys I would have everything fixed by today. Okay, like have it all looking nice and much better and aesthetically pleasing for you guys. Okay, so I had it, I fixed it up, I made it look nice for you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this, slightly different presentation of the show. As time goes on, it will continue to increase and get better and better and better. So I hope you guys are enjoying that. Welcome, Brianna. Welcome, Kayla T. We got SH over in the YouTube chat as well. Redberry says, nice t-shirt. Thank you. We got Missy America, our single and amazing moderator holding down the YouTube chat. We got Katrina's here, Hattie's here, Vicky's here, Nitra, Rick, Layla, Ivy, of course, one of our beautiful members as well. So Melina as well. Melina's back again. Melina's always here. She never misses a day. And Brenda as well. Okay. Welcome all you beautiful, amazing people. Glad to see you here. Okay, let's get started. Why men love women who don't try hard. This is going to be a painful one. Okay, we'll all buckle up and we'll prepare ourselves for the pain. In the end, the pain is going to help you gain, right? No pain, no gain. And afterwards, you feel the pain, you feel the disappointment, you feel how you made mistakes, but then we can all get better together. Okay, so first we have respect. Now, as respect relates to why men love women who don't try hard, okay, I want you to understand men naturally, I know this is going to sound really silly, but men naturally want to respect the woman that they are going to build a relationship with. Okay. I know that sounds like asinine and insane, like just completely ridiculous that men would want to respect women that they build a relationship with. But that's the reality. I'm telling you as a man, me and all my men friends, we don't sit around thinking to ourselves, gee, golly, I really want to build a life and a long lasting relationship with a woman I have absolutely no respect for. I can't wait to start a family and make the mother of my children a woman who I have less than zero respect for. That's just been my dream. Okay. We don't sit around thinking like that. Okay. So if that's the case, if we're looking for a woman we can respect, right? I want you to understand that when you try hard, really hard for people, okay? People see that. And while you might think, oh, they're realizing that I'm trying so hard, I'm doing the most, I'm scrubbing the floors, right? I'm trying to show him how amazing of a wife I'll be by doing everything I possibly can, doing backflips, doing front flips, hoping that he'll see how amazing I am and how awesome I am and he'll choose me. The men never choose the ones who are doing backflips and front flips and trying to be chosen. As some might say, the pick-me-shas, right? The pick-me-shas only get used. They do not get chosen to be a wife, despite what most of you might think, because there is a lack of respect there. The fact that you're trying so hard, and we'll talk about approval, validation, we'll get to that in a bit, but the fact that you're trying so desperately hard for my approval and my validation and trying to show me that you're the one for me by doing the absolute most, it actually makes me respect you less, not more. Because I perceive the fact that you're trying so desperately for my approval to mean that I must be the be all and end all of your life. Okay? And it also makes me feel as if you put everything in your life, every priority in your life, every person in your life, nothing matters to you more than my approval. And while you might think, well, what's wrong with me wanting my man's approval? What's wrong with me doing everything for my man's approval? The problem with that is people stop respecting you. And it also doesn't allow them to be humble in the relationship they're trying to build with you. Why? Because they see and perceive, we'll talk about perceived value in a bit. They see and perceive the reasoning for you doing the absolute most for them, especially at the very beginning when you guys jump right into it super intense. They perceive that as desperate behavior. Why? Because they also subconsciously understand that the women who are not trying to do the most are usually the women they're the ones trying to chase after. Okay. I tell you guys all the time, there can only be 100%, I guess you could say, of, we'll just say energy in a relationship, meaning that there's only 100% of like and love in the relationship. So while we all might want to believe that we're splitting at 50-50, a lot of times someone is leaning towards, 51, 53, 55, and someone else is leaning towards 45, 40, 43, okay, percent. Now, that's a fluid process. It's not always going to be the same all throughout the entire relationship, but I want you to understand part of the mindset of the women who are not trying hard. Remember, I always tell you guys, the position you want to be receiving, okay? Because for some of you, when you really like a guy, you're trying to do the most, you're trying to, oh, okay, I've got to be the most interesting, I've got to be the most captivating. So when I go on the date, I've got to talk about a million things, and I've got to make myself look so amazing and awesome, and I've got to do the best I can and do like, and your mind is spiraling about trying to present yourself the best that you possibly can for him. And the crazy part is, as soon as you start thinking about how all the things you're going to do to show him how amazing you are, you end up being on the offensive. Do you understand? You end up being on the offensive and pushing towards him, trying to force things to work. And he starts taking, I guess you could say, the defensive, but the receiving position where he's just receiving all of your actions towards him. Is that making sense, guys? Right? And that's supposed to be your role as the woman. You're supposed to be the one sitting back and receiving his actions, his intentions, okay, I want to take you out. I want to do this. I want to show you. I want to court you. I want to show you that I'm the guy for you. I want to show you that I can do the things that you need me to do. Okay? That's the position you should be in, receiving and saying, okay, look, I got there's 1,000 men out here, trying to fight for this position. I don't know if you're going to make it. You got to show me something. Show me something, right? And you sit back, you relax, and you receive. But the problem is, for some of you, when you get anxious, if you're a naturally anxious person, or if you just find yourself in a relationship with someone you actually like, right? Then what ends up happening is you push towards him because you're super anxious about him walking away from you or not wanting to be with you or, abandoning you or even rejecting you, that you're so desperate that please stay. Please don't go. Please don't walk away. Please, I might have wasted a body on you. We already slept together. I already gave myself to you. You can't walk away now. Right? And that anxiety that grows within you makes you start pushing more and more and more and taking more and more of an offensive stance. When you're taking an offensive stance, you're going to be doing the absolute most for no reason. And it's not going to, listen to me, guys. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, this guy. Whenever you take an offensive stance and you start doing the absolute most, you're doing backflips, cartwheels, front flips, side flips, whatever flips. You're doing two-dimensional flips. You're moving in and out of space and time. You're doing magic tricks. The more you do, the more obvious it becomes that you need my approval and validation. Okay? Look, I'm going to say that again. The more you do and the harder you try, the more obvious it becomes that you need my approval and validation, or else you wouldn't be trying to do the absolute most. Okay? Especially when we're talking about these beginning of these relationships and the beginning and the building of the relationship before you get into the full-blown commitment is such an important step into setting the setting the precedent for the rest of the relationship and what the dynamic is going to be. You can very quickly find yourself building a relationship with someone where you're taking the offensive stance 100% of the time. You're doing the most, you're trying the most, and that person is just sitting back. Your man, in this case, is just sitting back and receiving. And for some of you that have been in that position, you only ended up realizing that you were trying way too hard, taking way too much of an offensive stance after you took a step back, only to realize you taking a step back only meant that he wouldn't call you, he wouldn't text you, he wouldn't contact you, he wouldn't ask you to hang out. He didn't want anything to do with you. And then you realize finally when you took a step back that really the only reason you guys were spending time with each other was because of the convenience of the fact that you were taking an offensive stance and because you were reaching out and doing all the work and all he had to do was receive. And because anything outside of him getting to sit back, relax, and it be convenient for him to receive, he's not interested in that. Okay, so the men lose respect for you the moment you start trying to do backflips, front flips, and magic tricks to try to seek their approval and show them that you're the best person for them and that you're the one that should be picked. Okay, the Pygmishas, as Shira likes to say, only end up getting used. I'm going to tell you from a man's perspective. If we pick a Pygmisha, it's only for the purpose of taking advantage of a Pygmisha, not for the purpose of wifing a Pygmisha. Okay? Because I can't respect you if your entire MO, your entire essence and aura is about seeking my approval, which is why you would be trying so hard and taking such an offensive stance. The moment you start taking an offensive stance and trying to do the absolute most, men will take a step back. That's what's naturally going to occur. It's like a core, right? That's what's naturally going to occur. So I want you to understand that. Now, when we're talking about trying hard, what are the things I'm specifically mentioning when I say trying hard? What I'm talking about is, for example, when you go out on a date, and you feel like, okay, I'm going out on this date. I got to make myself look as interesting as possible. So I'm going to yap. And I'm going to try and talk my way into him seeing how amazing and fun and awesome I am. And then he'll realize by the way I talk and I yap about all these different things that I'm super interesting and fun and outgoing. Remember what I always tell you guys. People don't remember what you say. They only remember how you make them feel. And in your position as a woman, you are in the best position because the most attractive, desirable version of you actually has to do nothing for a man or towards a man. Are you following me so far, guys? The most attractive, desirable version of you doesn't actually have to do anything for or towards a man. You just invest in yourself. And as you invest in yourself, you become more desirable to the men. They chase and pursue after you. And then you get to sit back, relax, receive, and pick who you want to be with. That's like the naturally occurring cycle here. If we're just talking about straight heterosexual relationships, I don't know how anyone else does the relationships. Okay. That's all we discuss on the show because that's all I know. I'm only one person. Right? So very important that you understand the position that you're meant to be existing in and the mindset you're meant to be carrying. That try hard mindset only comes from a place of anxiety, of fear, where you feel like I've got to prove to you that I'm the one for you, because if you don't realize I'm the one for you, you're going to leave me and you're going to go and get with some other girl and not choose me instead. And then I'm going to be left in the dust. And that fear, now you're sitting there scraping for scraps, trying to do anything desperately to show him that you're the one for him. And in reality, he just kind of sits and laughs at you while you make a fool out of yourself trying to juggle. Imagine me walking up to the street with you, on you, and then just juggling like 10 balls in a row. And I'm like teary-eyed. I'm like crying. I'm like, look, I'm juggling 10 balls in a row. Look at this. Can't you see how amazing it is? I tried so hard and I'm juggling 10 balls. It took me a year to learn all of these tricks, and I'm managing all the 10 balls. And look, I'm gonna light myself on fire too. And you light yourself on. You pour gas on yourself. You light yourself on fire. Look, I'm on fire and I'm juggling 10 balls. Don't you see how amazing this is? Don't you like me now that I'm juggling 10 balls and I'm on fire? I work so hard for you to love me and see how amazing this is, and I work so hard. And you just be like, oh my God, you're a train wreck. Like it's cool that you're juggling 10 balls and you're on fire, but like, this isn't going to make me want to go on a date with you. This isn't going to make me want to spend my life with you. This isn't making me more attracted to you. Actually, now everyone's staring at you and looking at me now, and I feel quite embarrassed because you're sitting here doing this huge act of desperation, trying to show me how you can light yourself on fire and juggle 10 balls in a row as a way of proving to me that now I should choose you. Actually, this is quite an embarrassing experience. I would actually like for you to stop, please. Please stop. Please stop juggling 10 balls and setting yourself on fire. This is embarrassing. Everyone's staring at us. Okay? Right? And it's the same idea, just on a subconscious emotional level. When you start doing the absolute most, especially because you're the woman, and while I can't tell you how to be a woman, right? What I will say is you're best served in terms of attracting men to pursue you when you are sitting back and receiving from those men. The moment you take an offensive stance, the men will naturally be forced to take a step back from you. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Ivy says, oh, I've made it known I like him with enchanting. That's good. See everything about your essence, Ivy, you're doing a good thing, right? Everything about your essence should be about a feeling, not really about like, you listen, this is like side note. You should never have to tell a guy I like you, no matter even if he asks. Don't say it, okay? Let him feel like it's happening, but don't confirm it actually happening for him, okay? The feeling and the back and forth is way more addicting and obsessive and interesting than you just coming out and saying, hey, I like you and I would love to build life with you. And listen, can we date for exactly 3 months and go on 3 dates a week, and then we'll get to know each other, and in the process of us getting to know each other, then we'll build a lifelong relationship. I know, listen, I know that when we all want life and relationships to be so easy, that would be the ideal way to go about things. But I'm going to be the first one to tell you that is the least interesting way to go about things. And that's the least attractive way to go about things. Okay? Because people will not find that very interesting, enticing, or addicting. And if they don't find it very interesting, enticing, or addicting, they're going to find it very difficult to chase after you and pursue you. Right? Your essence has to be interesting, enticing, and addicting that he wants to continue pursuing you. Okay? Chiliana says, the guy that was pursuing me recently, I let them talk so much and I decided they weren't for me. Easy. Now I won't be manipulated into pineapples. See, that's the amazing part about what we're doing here. In the process of you trying less and doing less, you get to observe more, which is amazing, right? Listen more, which is amazing. And the thing about it is, I know some of you might think, but if I'm sitting here and I'm observing and I'm listening, then the whole relationship's about him. Everything's about him. He gets to talk, he gets to share, he gets to get everything off his chest. Listen, don't worry about what he gets, because you're getting a lot also. You're getting valuable information. And all of that information you can use to make an educated decision on whether or not you want to be giving yourself to this man. So actually, you're helping yourself. Right? You're not helping him. He just believes that you're helping him because he gets to share, talk, yap, discuss, make the whole relationship about him. But you're actually just sitting back, receiving, and observing while you actively make a decision on if you're going to end up giving yourself to this person. So it serves you either way. But when you switch your lens from thinking, oh, but I don't get to share, I don't get to talk about myself, I don't get to give myself, I don't get to make this about me, it's only about him, you realize you're not trying to make it about you with every single guy. You're only trying to make it about you and share about you with the men you're actually going to end up building a real relationship with. Otherwise, you're going to be investing emotionally into men that you're not trying to build a real relationship with. And when you start investing emotionally into people that you're not going to build a real relationship with, it makes it that much harder to walk away from situations and relationships that aren't what you feel like you deserve. Okay. It's not just the physical and spiritual attachment of him being inside you. It's also the emotional attachment of sharing yourself, opening up to someone, right? And investing in them emotionally that makes it harder to detach and walk away from a situation, no matter what it is. Okay. Right. Pretty Peach says, I'm not very talkative. How can I be more interesting in conversation with guys? That's a great question, pretty Peach. You don't have to be talkative. You just have to know how to ask good questions. These are the only two skills you need, okay? When we're talking about, and this is actually in line with what we're talking about, why men love women who don't try hard. This is one of the only two skills you need. You need to be a good listener. And when I talk about being a good listener, I'm not just talking about nodding your head. You need to know how to show your body language in a way that will be perceived by the other person, in this case, the man, in a particular way. What I mean by that, for example, is if I am trying to ask you questions about your ex or your past relationship, and I know that I want that information to be able to utilize and bank, that I can know what you're like, how you treat people, what your relationship status is with your ex, right? So I need you to share in detail. I know I'm going to ask you questions, but I'm not just going to ask you questions and sit back and then blindly react based on however I feel about what you said. So for example, if I sit back and I ask you questions and you say, and the guy says, okay, yeah, so I cheated on my ex 30,000 times. And, she caught me going into the room. And, when she came into the room, it was me and I was having like an 8-some. Okay. Right. You're not going to then react. Oh my God. Oh my God, gasp. I'm so shocked. Like, you would do that to someone, right? You're not going to react or respond like that because you have an understanding that your response will also make it easier or harder for them to continue sharing. You understand what I'm saying? So you're also self-aware of how your body language is being perceived. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about being a good listener. You're also aware of how your body language is being perceived, and you make sure your body language is in line with encouraging them to share more. So you need to seem excited, interested in what they have to say, non-judgmental about anything they have to say. Meaning every time, because what's going to happen is in the process of them sharing, they're going to try to share with you little tidbits of things that are important or maybe don't make them look as good. It's very important that when they do share those things, because they're trying to test to see, are you really non-judgmental or are you just saying that? When they share those type of things with you, you make it very clear to them you're not judging them. And even better, if you could respond with some sort of understanding perspective as to why they did the things that they did and say back to them some of the things they said as their reasoning for doing it. Right? So it seems like you understand them. Okay. Even if you don't agree with what they did, it's very good for them to feel understood, that they can continue sharing because they feel like this is a safe place. All of this serves you. You might think, oh my God, that's crazy in-depth manipulation. At the end of the day, all of this serves you to the purpose of figuring out the real information, getting the real information and extracting that out of him, that you can make an educated, real decision based on real facts, not what he's trying to present to you. So that's what being a good listener is about. Also, obviously, asking good questions and asking the right questions in a way that doesn't make things seem like an interview. I've talked about good dating questions before to ask. Maybe another show we'll talk about specific questions to ask to get a guy to tell you his deepest, darkest secrets. Okay. But asking good questions and good follow-up questions, along with being a good listener with your body language, are the two most important parts of not trying hard, but also getting what you need to get out of this relationship, this talking stage, this whatever you want to call it. You understand what I'm saying? Right? So why men love women that don't try hard. Number one, we had respect. Number two is security. Okay. So men see you as secure when you are not actively seeking their validation or approval. Okay. Why is that? Because if you don't seem to need my validation or approval, if you're not trying to prove to me that you can be the best wife to me, and it's probably because you don't feel like you actually need me in your life. There's a certain level of desperation that can only come from someone who needs you. It needs you and you alone. That when you feel that desperation from someone, it doesn't necessarily make you want to do more for that person or be with that person. It just makes you think about how desperate they are. Right? And that desperation, that seeking of the approval or the validation can only really come from a place of insecurity. Because if I truly was secure in myself, then I wouldn't actually care what you think. Okay? Have you ever been in imagine, I'll give you an example of me. I'll make it about me. So imagine if every time someone came on here and made a comment like, you don't know what you're talking about. Everything you say is a lie. This is garbage information. And I was like, I don't care what anyone thinks. You think I'm wrong? I'm not wrong. I'm the rightest person ever. I promise you I'm right. I've been right ever since. Don't tell me I'm wrong. I don't even care if I'm, I don't even care. I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't care what these people, they're haters. They're haters. I don't care, man. And I'm like going crazy. Right? That can only come from a place of insecurity, because if I really didn't care, it really wouldn't bother me what someone else's opinion is, right? Of me or of the show or of what I'm doing, because I do what I do for the people that enjoy it. And that's all. If you don't enjoy it, that's fine. Right? But there's a totally different response you'll get from someone who cares about the approval or the validation of someone or a particular group of people or from somewhere, versus someone who doesn't care for that approval or validation. Okay? Someone who doesn't care for that approval or validation is going to sit back, relax, and be like, if you like me, that's great. That's awesome. If you don't like me or don't think that I'm the person for you, or you don't want to wife me, you don't want to be in a relationship with me, that's also perfectly fine. There are plenty of men lining up who want to be in a relationship with me. And this is the crazy thing that happens too, is that sometimes men will test your own security in yourself. So they love women that don't try hard, but they will also test to see if you're a tryhard. So they'll try to get it out of you and extract it out of you, desperation for their approval, by giving you compliments or even slighting you sometimes in a way that should make you feel something where you're like, oh, so you think this about me? Oh, why do you think that like that? Oh, right. And they'll almost try to take jabs at your self-esteem to see if you're truly secure or if you're an insecure person. What happens is, in the process of you being a secure person, when they try to take jabs at you and test you to see if you're actually secure, and your response is, if that's what you think, that's fine. Doesn't bother me either way. You can continue thinking that. Right? Or if they start saying things like, I don't know, maybe you're just, I like a girl, who can cook. So if you're not going to cook me 3 square meals a day, then, you're probably not the girl for me. And then you sit there like, okay, that's perfectly fine with me. If you want to stop talking, we can stop talking. There's plenty of people who would love to talk to me and love to take me out on dates. Actually, it would free up a lot of my schedule. Then they go, oh, wait, chill. You don't got to be mean, like, don't be mean. Like, I was just making a joke. Like, come on, it's me and you forever. Like, right? Because they'll test it to see what your response will be. But then when they realize you're not interested in getting on your hands and knees and scrubbing the floors till they're squeaky clean to show him how amazing of a wife you'll be to him, he starts thinking, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I thought you were one of the other girls that's desperate for approval and validation. So I apologize. I wasn't familiar with your game. I actually have respect for you. My apologies. Okay. right? That's why we love women who don't try hard. They don't need our approval for anything. So what does that do to us? Right? We perceive you as secure in yourself. And if you're secure in yourself, that must come because you actually have real value. Okay? If I perceive you as secure, right? I see you as a secure person. I actually know that you're a secure person. That must come from an understanding that you have value, that you know to be true, that you don't need me to validate you to feel as if you have value. It just already exists. It doesn't have to come from me. It doesn't have to be validated by me. It doesn't have to be approved by me. It's already existing all the time, and you know it to be true, so you don't need me to tell you that it's true. That's like someone, imagine this. Imagine someone came up to the street on me. I'm walking down the street. I'm on a stroll down the street. And I'm walking down the sidewalk and someone's like, hey, oh my God, did you stop everything you're doing? I like take my headphones out. I'm like, what's the problem? They're like, oh my God, I don't think you even know this. I got to tell you some super valuable information that you probably didn't know. This is going to change your life. I don't think you realize this. This is going to change your absolute life forever. I'm like, what's the information? What's the valuable information? Like, I don't think you ever knew this, but you're a black man. A black man. And I'm sitting there like, what? Oh, okay, yeah, I knew that. No, but you're a black man. You're black. Your skin's melanin. Your skin's melanin. It's black. And I'm sitting there like, okay, that's information I already knew to be true. That's information I already had. You telling me that doesn't change my life either way. It's not a shocker. It's not, whatever it may be. And even if you sit here and tell me I'm white, I know I'm black. So it doesn't matter if you tell me I'm white because I can see that I'm black. So it doesn't matter what you say. I know what I know to be true, and that's it. That's all that matters. And so I give that example to say, when you know something to be true about yourself, when you know your value to be true, you're not going out and asking of people to approve that value or validate that value or tell you how valuable you are. Okay? You're not fishing for compliments. You're not fishing for people to tell you how amazing you are. You already know how amazing you are. And you shouldn't be shocked or taken aback when people think you're amazing. That should be everyday regular life for you. Okay? Now, obviously, you don't have to be rude about it and be like, oh, you're so beautiful. I already know, right? You don't got to be rude about it. But there's nothing wrong with having a confidence in yourself. When people are like, oh my God, you're so stunning, you're so beautiful. You're like, you're thinking in your head, thank you. You say thank you, but you're thinking in your head, I know I'm stunning and I'm beautiful. I literally looked at myself this morning and I was looking like a goddess walking on clouds. Okay, right? This is why we love women that don't try hard. They believe in themselves, and so intrinsically we end up believing in them. So I'll get to, that's a perfect segue to the next one. So we had respect, we had security. Now we're going to talk about perceived value, okay? Now, once their perception is that you're secure because you know your value, now me as a man, I believe in that value. See, I'm always going to be following your train. You take the lead. This is you. You're driving the car here. So if I want to desire you and I want to see the value in you, I first have to know that you see the value in yourself and you believe you're worth being desired. Because that confidence that you'll walk around, we always talk about energy. We always talk about spirituality. We always talk about mindset, because mindset is like 65% of relationships. It's more than all the physical stuff. It's more than your yiddies. It's more than your dump trucks, more than anything you can have to offer physically. Okay. Because your mindset is what you'll carry in your energy and your aura. That's what people will receive of you. That's going to drastically change how people approach you. Okay. So your perceived value is always about me as a man following your lead about what you believe in yourself. The women who are trying the hardest and trying the most to be seen, be heard, be picked. The moment I see and feel that, my perceived value of you goes down. Why? because I only believe you're begging for my attention and my approval and to be seen by me because you don't feel that you're valuable enough that if you don't beg for my attention or approval that anyone else will want you. I'll give you a perfect example. If I had an iPad, this iPad, and we were on the street, you were walking down the sidewalk, and I told you, hey, take this, have this, this is yours. Take this out of my hand. I'm just a stranger on the street. I'm like, hey guys, anyone, and I'm yelling, please, anyone, take this iPad. Someone take this iPad. Please, someone take this iPad out of my hand. And everyone's kind of walking by at me staring. And I'm just like, take this iPad. I'm just waving it around. Would you think that that iPad is defective, broken, something's wrong with it? Or would you believe that I'm actually offering people a free iPad? Which one would you be more inclined to believe? This is where I want you guys to respond in the chat, okay? If I'm sitting on the sidewalk, I'm waving around a free iPad. Someone take this iPad. Anyone take this and I'm begging people. I'm like, please take this iPad. Please, anyone take this iPad. Does anyone want this iPad? And everyone's like looking at me. And I'm yelling on the street, someone please take the iPad. I just want one person to take the iPad. And everyone's just staring. Would you believe it's broken or defective, or would you believe it works and I just want to give it away for free? Right? People saying defective, stolen, defective, right? It's a broken iPad. Something's wrong with it, right? Broken for sure. Something must be wrong with it, right? And the reason I ask that, right, is as it relates to you, right? The moment you start begging, the moment you start being desperate for approval and validation, the moment you start trying to do front flips and back flips for that man so that he can see that you're the girl that he should pick, all he thinks is you're a free iPad that no one wants. And the only reason you would be so desperate for me to take your iPad off your hands is if you're broken, you're defective, or you're just not that valuable. Because if you were, you wouldn't be begging me to take this off of your hands. That's quite strange behavior for something that actually holds real value, right? Imagine that. Something that holds real value, I'm begging you to take it from me. I'm begging you to have this thing that is valuable, but I'm the one begging you to take it. That doesn't make any sense. If it was valuable, I'd be keeping it to myself. And if you wanted it from me, you would have to exchange some value in return for getting this thing that is valuable. So you have to treat yourself the same way. When you're trying super hard for these men, and when I'm talking about trying, I'm talking about trying to do the absolute most. You're the one on the offensive. You're the one dating him, trying to take him out, plan dates, do all this other stuff. You're basically being the man, okay? When you're doing all of that, all he's thinking to himself is, the only girl that would be actively pursuing me as a guy are the girls which no guys want. Because he's going to know that's unnatural for you to be pursuing me. So if you're pursuing me, then you must not be that interesting. You must not be that valuable. And definitely the guys don't want you because there's no reason you should be pursuing me. This is what they're thinking. So obviously they can't say that out loud. They probably can't even, put that into words. But that's what they're feeling, which is why they respond to you in a particular way, this is actually why that idea and that concept is why two different guys can treat you two drastically, totally different ways because of that perception. When you're trying less with the guys that you don't like, they perceive you, the same you, as more valuable because you're trying less because you're not interested in them. But they also believe that you're trying less because you're confident in yourself. They perceive that confidence as value. And because they believe you're valuable, then they continue to chase after you and pursue you. And then the vice versa happens when you really like a guy and you're trying so much, you're the one chasing after him, you're the one on the offensive. He thinks to himself, the only reason you would be take such an offensive stance and be pursuing him is if you had no value, if no one wanted you, if there was no competition for you. And so he thinks to himself, I don't want that girl. She's not valuable. Nobody wants her. Nobody wants to be with her. Why would I want to be with her? Something's wrong with it, Tiffany says in the YouTube chat, right? This is why I always tell you guys, This is why we can talk for ages about approach, because approach and mindset are the two biggest issues that a lot of you are struggling with, that is drastically changing your ability to get the man and the relationship that you want. It's not your looks, it's not your yitties, and it's not your dump truck. Because mid-size to heavy-size yitties and dump trucks can all attract women and attract men, wrong show, attract men and have men wrapped around your fingers. You understand what I'm saying? Golly gee, I'm thirsty. Okay, all right. And what does it look like? What is too much? You know what too much is. Too much is planning dates for a guy, okay? Going out on dates and thinking that you have to do the job of being the conversator, leading the conversation. Now, you can lead the conversation in a feminine way by asking questions and letting him talk. But going on the dinner and thinking you have to be the one that most interesting, you have to think of the ideas of the date, you have to think of where you're gonna go, you have to you're like leading the relationship. Anything, listen to me, doing too much, listen to me now. Doing too much consists of doing anything that you feel you're taking a more masculine role in. Okay, that's a very easy blanket thing to understand. So if there's anything you're doing in your relationships that you feel that you're taking a more masculine role than a feminine role, then you're doing too much. Okay, so if you're pursuing, you're planning the dates, you're the one telling him, hey, okay, what's your schedule? Let's go here today. Let's do that, right? You're taking a more masculine role, a more leadership role. You're doing too much. Okay, doing too much. And sometimes you guys get anxious because you're like, oh my God, but we went on one date and I want to go on a second date literally the next day. And he hasn't texted me in a whole 8 hours. So maybe I should text him and ask him if he's free. No. He knows what your number is. He knows how to contact you. He knows where to find you. If he wants to go on a date, he will. Okay. This is the problem. When you guys start liking a guy, that anxiety starts rolling in and you start thinking to yourself, well, what do I have to do next? What do I have to do next? And then your mind shifts to, oh, well, okay, the next time he sees me, I'm going to make it so amazing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that. I'm going to be like this. I'm going to be like that. Right. And you just start thinking, what can I give to you? What can I do for you? Right. Can I get on my hands and knees and scrub the floors until they're squeaky clean? Will that make you see me and appreciate me? Can I wash all the dishes in your house until they're squeaky clean? Will that make you appreciate me? Can I sleep over at your house and give you girlfriend treatment and take care of the entire place? And will that make you appreciate and see me when you're literally in a friends with benefits, right? Anytime, this is also a really good sign of trying. So if you're in the taking on a masculine role, or anytime you're doing things for him that aren't appropriate to the current status of your relationship. So what I mean by that is, if you're in a friends with benefits, going over and sleeping over at his place and then cleaning his place and cooking him dinner is inappropriate for the current status of your relationship. Do you understand what I'm saying? When I say inappropriate, I just mean you wouldn't do that for friends with benefits. You would do that for your husband. Okay? So if you're ever doing things ahead of schedule or doing things that aren't in line with the current status of your relationship, then no bueno. You're trying too hard and you're doing too much. The things you should be doing should be in line with the status of your relationships. Right? Juju says, what dishes are cooking friends with benefits? No, hell no. Okay, this is what I want you to understand. It has to be in line with the status of your relationship. Now, obviously, be understanding. We don't do extremes here. We live our life with balance. So if you're going to cook dinner with him as like a date that you guys plan together to go over to one of your houses and cook dinner, that's a totally different thing than saying, oh, I'm getting up early in the morning to cook him breakfast and you guys are friends with benefits. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? And you're going over the top. This is why I always tell you, think about this too. This will keep you in line with where you're supposed to be. If you know in your mind, I just met this person, so why would I be sleeping over at their place 3 times a day? That's not necessarily in line with just meeting a person last week. Doing too much, trying too hard. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you getting the drift now? Okay. It's not appropriate for the established context of your current relationship. As things progress, it will escalate the levels in which you invest in each other and how much you give to that guy. I'm not saying you should never do anything for your man, but understand the difference between doing something for your man and doing something for a man. There's a difference, and that difference will be the difference between you being a woman who's trying too hard that the men are not interested in, and you being a woman who's sitting back, relaxing, and allowing yourself to receive what the men have to offer you. Okay? Cooking dinner for your husband is not a crime. It's a great thing. But cooking dinner for the guy you had a one-night stand with is definitely not what you need to be doing, okay? Because that you cooking dinner for the guy you had a one-night stand with is not going to make him want to be with you in a relationship with you anymore. Okay? I'll just be the first one to tell you. Does that make sense to you guys? Every man don't get hubby energy. I 100% agree. I don't think that it's necessary for you to be giving every man that you meet husband energy. You sit back, you observe, you relax. The men are going to court you and chase after you. And listen, I need to drill this through your guys' brains. The men meet you. If they like you, they like you. Their like for you doesn't disappear in an instant just because they don't talk to you for 8 hours or text you for 12 hours. Sometimes you guys get so confuzzled that a man hasn't talked to you in 12 hours that you think he's forgotten of your existence. I had a girl, a couple days ago, where she asked a question in the Discord. By the way, if you have a personal question and a situation for me, please go into the link in the description if you're on YouTube, or the link in my bio if you're on TikTok, and ask your question in the Discord where I'm going to be answering a bunch of questions after this. But I had a couple of days ago or a week ago, a girl in Discord asked, hey, this guy, he's been coming into my work. He's been chatting me up. He clearly is interested in me. And he even asked me to come out with his friends. He invited me out. We had a great time. And I just want to know, what should I do now? Should I call him? Should I text him? What should I do next? Because I want this to escalate into us being in a relationship or whatever. And I'm like, just sit back and relax. You don't need to do anything. He's already established that he's interested in you. He's already established that he likes you. He's already established that he will take you out or invite you out if he wants to see you. He even knows where you work because he was coming into her work. That's how they met. He knows where you work. He knows where to find you if he needs to find you. You don't have to do anything, right? Don't get anxiety that guys will forget about you in a couple of hours because they're not texting you 24/7. That's not how guys work. If he's interested in you, he will stay interested in you. And actually, the less that you do, the more he will take interest in you and the more he will pursue you. As soon as you take an offensive stance, you give him permission to take a step back. Keep all of your men on the offensive. Do not give him any reason to take a step back because you're the one saying, oh, okay, so what do I have to do to make you like me more? Nothing. You do nothing. You do nothing. And he will continue liking you. I know it sounds really stupid, and I know it sounds like it makes no sense, but this is why I exist in your life. A function of the other side of, human beings, the men, and how their brains work, that you can take that knowledge and utilize it, that you can see the results that you want instead of being frustrated, not understanding, but this makes no sense. Why is it that every time that I try to do things that will actively make him like me more, he likes me less than when I sit back and relax and chill? And the guys that I don't like or have no interest in, those are the ones literally feeding for me. They're frothing out the mouth, begging to sniff my butthole. Why is that? I'm here to tell you why that is. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. Right. CW says when he makes plans, says he's on the way and ghosts when I text hours later. I expect my time to be respected. There's nothing wrong with expecting your time to be respected. And if that continues, don't even answer the message. Okay? In the YouTube chat, Shellyana, I just want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Shellyana says, wait, you're meeting up with and being available and he hasn't asked you to be his girl. That's what I'm saying. This is why I also tell you guys this, going to his house, if you guys are going to cook dinner or do something, like if there's an activity to be had at his house down the line, then that's not a bad thing. But you guys, especially this sleepover stuff, because I know we're adults, everyone has their own place stuff. This sleepover stuff can be a very dangerous game, and it's an easy ticket down to him not being interested in you anymore road. Because especially at the very beginning, there's no need for you to be sleeping over. See him when he sets aside time for you and be gone every time other than that. That allows him to have the maximum amount of enjoyment when you're around and feel the maximum amount of despair and miss you the most when you're not around, that he can continue realizing that I want to see her more, right? At the very beginning, you're always trying to ramp up his desire to see you more to the point where he's like, okay, now I actually want to see her every day. Now I actually want her to move in. Now I actually want her to be a part of my life forever. Okay, but you're trying to ramp that up. That doesn't happen overnight. And sometimes you guys want it to be so intense right at the beginning. You sleep over 7 nights a week. And then he finally says to himself, okay, look, I'm glad you've been sleeping over 7 nights a week, but I kind of need some time for myself. Then you lost. That's downhill from there. Okay? So, number 1 was respect. Number 2 was security. Number 3 was perceived value. Number 4, we have self-reflection. Now, self-reflection is important because when men begin to believe in your own sense of value in yourself, right? They chase after you and your approval as a way of self-validating. Okay? Let me break this down. Let's say me and you are dating. Me and you, we going on some nice dates and stuff like that, right? And I know that everyone wants you. Let's say you're a famous supermodel, okay? You've got a huge dump truck. Everyone loves your dump truck. You got 8 million followers. You're booked up and busy all over the place, and you're just beloved by everyone. Your dump trucks is disgustingly amazing. And I know everyone wants you. What's going to happen is, because my perceived value of you is very high, I know that if I continue chasing after you and doing everything necessary in order to be your man, that you will choose me also. That is a reflection of my own value. Are you seeing that? Right? Because if I'm the man that is with the woman that everyone wants, then that means I'm a really valuable man, because she has her choice of any man that her heart desires, and men are willing to crawl on glass and sniff her butthole to be with her. So if she chooses me, that is a reflection of how amazing and awesome I am. Which is why the men love the women who don't try hard. Because the women who aren't trying hard, their perceived value is very high because they have confidence in themselves, which is why they don't need approval of men or anyone. They know who they are. They're secure in who they are. And because they're secure in who they are and their value is high, now I know if I do the most, if I seek your approval as a man, if I try my best to court you and respect you and do everything necessary to be in a relationship with you, and I actually end up getting you and getting access to you, now that is a reflection of me and how amazing I am. And you guys know ego plays a huge part in relationships and human beings, right? Now my ego is happy because I'm the man who's with the woman. You're the supermodel with the huge, amazing dump truck that's busting out of your pants that can barely fit. And I'm with the girl that everyone wants. They want to sniff your butt crack. And I'm with her. She wants me. Ha ha, loser, man, you peasants. I step on you, silly peasants. She wants me, and you're begging. You're begging for her attention, and she wants me. You're a peasant, right? It's an ego boost for them. And it becomes self-validating for them to be with someone who actually doesn't need the approval of other people because they have confidence in themselves, because they actually are that girl. Does that make sense? Are you guys following along with me? Okay. Right. You know, says we are the prize and we should act like it. I 100% agree. Right. And here's the thing too. Right. You have to understand, as your perceived value goes up and you become a reflection of how valuable he is if he can be with you. You see how quickly, I'm glad Yona said that. Very quickly, see, everyone likes to say, because the men will say, I'm the prize. The woman will say, I'm the prize. Everyone says, I'm the prize. That's fine. Everyone can be the prize. I don't really care. But what I want you to understand is you can be approached like the prize when someone else is the one seeking your approval and validation. And a lot of times, if you can set it up the right way, the man will be the one seeking your approval and validation because you are so valuable and everyone else wants you so much that in order to be with you, the only way to be with you is to seek your approval and validation that you'll be happy and want to be with me. And then in turn, you become the prize. Now, you stop being the prize when you're the one seeking his validation and approval. Very easily, the tables can turn on you if you're not careful, right? So really, everyone's right. Any person can be the prize. It really doesn't matter. It's not specific to boys or men. However, your approach and your mindset will drastically change whether you actually end up being the prize or not. Because if you're the prize as a woman, it's because you set the table right, where he's the one trying to seek your approval and validation because he knows how much everyone else and all the other guys want you and how amazing and confident in all the value you bring to the table. And so he treats you like a prize. Vice versa, when you take the offensive stance because you're so scared that he won't want to be with you, you're so scared that he'll abandon you, you're so scared that he'll want to be with a different girl instead of you, and you take an offensive stance where you're trying to do the absolute most that he'll want to be with you, and you're seeking his approval and validation. Well, who's the prize now? He is the prize. Right? Miss St. Louis says the best way is to set the tables up so you don't have to turn it. I 100% agree. This is why I love giving you guys, for those of you who are single or in the dating stage, you guys are in the perfect place to get this information. I know some of you watch me that are in relationships and some of you watch me that are, already dating, and maybe some of you have already made some of the mistakes and you want to backtrack. But this is the best place to be, is at the beginning, where you can set the precedent and set the foundation for the expectation of the rest of the relationship. Because for some of you that make the wrong decisions at the very beginning, it becomes very hard to course correct after that, because you've already set the dynamic of what the relationship is supposed to be. And then people get confused or they back out when they realize you're trying to switch things up, Vita says, can you backtrack? You can. I mean, anything's possible, but it's a lot harder. I would almost say in a lot of scenarios, not every scenario, but in a lot of scenarios, you're better served abandoning that relationship, moving forward with an understanding of how you need to approach it next time, and then focusing on how your new approach is going to be. Because for some of you, there's been so much damage done in terms of how you approach the current relationship or current situationship that some of you are in, where, you gave Squirtle away, it's very low quality time you spent with each other, right? To the point where he probably might not even be interested in building a relationship with you. And the moment you take a step back, he's not even interested in pursuing you still, for some of you, not everyone, right? So sometimes it can be very hard to backtrack, but still it's important to come here. We have a conversation. You learn some things that even if that situation doesn't work out, at least now you have the knowledge that in the future you can approach it differently and get a drastically different result. Okay. I know that can be disappointing, right? But that's the reality, because for some of you, you're actively investing in someone that doesn't want to build a relationship with you. And the only time you're going to realize he doesn't want to build a relationship with you is when you finally take a step back and stop pursuing him. And then you'll realize that there's no chance he's going to pursue you when you stop pursuing him, because he never had any real interest in you in the first place. It was just about getting easy, convenient access to you. That can be painful, but that realization is important to remember or to take in with you what mistakes you don't want to make in the future. Okay, right? So we had respect, number 1. Security was number 2, perceived value number 3, self-reflection number 4, and number 5 we have individuality. Okay, so because you are so secure that you don't seek approval, you present yourself as a whole individual whose thoughts and opinions must be respected. Remember earlier on at the very beginning, I told you guys about how men want to respect the woman that they want to make their wife. I didn't say they want to respect every woman that's ever existed in this entire universe. They want to respect the woman that they are trying to make their wife. So what does that mean? That means that in the process of getting to know you and building a relationship with you, if you present yourself as someone who is not trying so hard for approval, okay, not trying so hard for validation, that shows him that you're an individual with your own thoughts, feelings, and perspective, that you feel how you feel, think how you think, and it's not going to be affected by what I say or do. That is good, because now when it comes to things like respecting your boundaries, now when it comes to things like adjusting my approach or apologizing for my behavior, I can recognize the fact that whether or not I feel a way, whether or not I think I did wrong, whether or not I think what I did was justified or correct or whatever, how you feel is valid, because you're an individual with your own thoughts, feelings, and perspective, and I must abide by how you feel about what I did towards you. See, it sets the groundwork. I can't love you and want to be in a relationship with you actually and want to build a life with you and you be my wife if I don't have real respect for you. And I can't have real respect for you if you're constantly in seek and in desperation for my validation. Okay? Because that's a function of the insecurity you feel and the fact that you don't feel like you have any self-worth outside of the validation that I can give to you. You always want to show men especially, that they better be humble or else. The moment you start letting the men that you're with get these huge egos, that you need them so much and so badly that they can do anything and you'll stick by them, that ego goes through the roof. They're no longer humble. And so how do they treat you? They treat you like garbage. They don't treat you like a real individual or human being. They treat you like an entity that they can control and do whatever they want with. And if they just apologize and click their heels 3 times, everything will go back to normal and you'll move on. Okay? They can't respect you as an individual because they don't even see you as an individual. Right? The people that are trying, so I'm laughing because I'm thinking of a scenario of like, someone that got bullied because they were trying so hard to fit into the friend group and then they only end up getting made fun of. I don't know if that's ever been you or if you've ever experienced that as a child or a preteen, being in a friend group, whether you were on one side or the other, being in the friend group where someone new was trying so hard to fit in and be approved by the friend group that everyone just kind of makes fun of them and laughs at them while they try desperately to be approved by the friend group, or vice versa. You've been the one trying to be approved by the friend group, doing everything that you possibly can, and they never end up approving you in the friend group anyways. They just end up laughing at you and making a joke out of the fact that you're trying to do the absolute most. Right? So this really isn't just a relationship thing. This is like a life thing. The moment people see that you're so desperate for their approval, that you're trying so hard to fit in, you're trying so hard to be liked, you're trying so hard for people to see you and validate you, everyone just kind of snickers to themselves and go, oh my God, that's so sad. Like, you're literally a train wreck. You're so tragic. And then they might placate you and be like, oh, do that twirl for us. Do that twirl. Yo, we can get her to do backflips. Yo, she wants to be our friend so bad. We can make her do. Yo, so do that backflip again. Do that thing again. Look at her. She's doing. She looks so stupid. She'll do anything. Yes, do it. You one more time. Yeah, do it. Yeah, we love it. Oh my God. And they'll just make a joke out of you. People will make a joke out of you. Okay? So will the men. The men will make, if you are going to go about your relationships in your life trying to be liked by every guy, we'll make a joke out of you. We'll make a serious joke out of you. And we'll be the only ones laughing. You won't find it funny at all. Okay? I know I always make it sound very grim, but this is the truth. If you're wondering why you seem to only get used and be underappreciated, the more you try to do things for men who you're not even in a relationship with, or, you haven't even built anything with, and you're wondering why those men don't appreciate you, that's because you're trying too hard. And no matter how hard you try for the man that you're in a friends with benefits with, that's not going to make him see you and want you anymore. Actually, the number one way to make a guy who seems to be uninterested in you interested in you and love you and desire you is to actually take a step back. As crazy and as dumb and as stupid as it sounds. Do less, say less, speak less, take a step back, take multiple steps back walk a mile backwards for some of you. And that is the only possible way that he can ever be interested in you. SCMS says, become invisible. You will be shocked. You will be shocked the 180 you see people, and especially men, do when you take a step back. The only thing is, once you take a step back and they take those steps forward, you keep that distance. You don't start taking steps forward now because he's taking steps forward. You continue keeping your distance and allowing him to chase. You guys always want to know how to get a guy to chase you more and desire you more and pursue you more. But you guys are never interested in hearing about how much you need to take a step back and do less if you want him to have room to chase you. You can't both be like this, sniffing each other's nostrils and breathing each other's air. One person has to want the other more, okay? Newsflash to you. And that's fine. Make it you. Make you be the person that is desired more, being chased after, that your man likes you more than you like him. Now, me personally, obviously, I am sensei, so I like it my way. But for you, get in your relationships and have your relationships be, you're joining the Players Club. So have your relationships be, the guy likes you more, that you can get anything you want. That makes sense? Okay. So do you guys have any questions about what we just discussed today? Okay. Sterling says, you won't imagine how helpful this is. I'm so glad that I was able to help you even just a little bit. Okay. Says, to be honest, I do less. I can tell it's really working, being busy with my own life. I love that. You see, and I seen too, I'm going to start, not even just in the Discord, I'm going to start bringing up some comments I even see on my YouTube, because today I saw a really amazing comment of someone saying, yo, since I've been listening to you for a couple of weeks, I really tried this stuff and I seen a drastic change in my relationship. I'm literally getting everything that I want from this man and I'm doing nothing. Like it's almost like when it starts happening, you'll be like, this is like a life hack. You'll be like, I'm literally doing nothing. And this man is giving me everything that I always wanted in a relationship and from a man. It's literally like magic. And you'll feel like you're tricking and playing the world, because you'll be like, I don't know if he realizes I'm doing nothing. I'm just sitting there. Because in the message that she sent, she's like, I'm just sitting there. I'm just listening. I'm asking questions. I'm making myself seem interested. He's literally talking for ages about himself. And all he can talk about is how amazing I am, and I haven't done anything. And he's literally in love with me, and he'll do so much for me, and I haven't done anything. Right? Katniss says, you'll never receive real love. Well, here's the thing. what is your version of real love? Because everyone likes to say, oh, love should be genuine, love should be real, and all this good stuff. But they don't like to acknowledge that the only people you'll ever love in your own life romantically are people that serve you. I don't know if you understood that or caught that. You're not going to love Stevie that down the street. You're not going to love the random person across town. You're only going to love the person that serves you the best. And you don't realize it, but the decisions you make on romantic partners are because of how they serve you, not because of how you serve them. But the thing about it is, everyone is in relationships for how they serve themselves. Okay? But there's nothing wrong with the idea that two parties can come together and have mutual benefit there where they both serve each other. Meaning you serve me in particular ways that I want, which is why I'm with you. And I serve you in particular ways that you want, which is why you're with me. That doesn't have to make it any less genuine because we both serve each other in different ways unique to us for what our needs and wants are. Okay. Katniss says that's not real love. Oh my God, mutual benefit. Well, then my question becomes to you, do you think that you get in relationships with people for pity? Do you think that you get into relationships with people for how much you want, the relationship to work out for them? Or do you get into the relationship for how much you want the relationship to work out for yourself truly? Like really analyze and think about that. Are you in a relationship for someone else or are you in a relationship for yourself? There's nothing wrong with wanting to make the person happy you're in a relationship with, but what is the actual reason you're in that relationship? For them to only have happiness or for you to have happiness, right? And I want you to understand what the order is. You get what I'm saying? Right? Okay. Katniss says, I get into them when I only love them. What don't you get? There's nothing wrong with being into them when you love them, but then ask yourself, why do you love that person? Really ask yourself, why do you love that person? Why don't you love the random person on the street? And why do you choose to love this person in particular? Ask yourself, how does loving this person or being in love with this person, how does this serve me? Really think about that for a second. And you'll actually be able to answer, you'll actually be able to realize why you're actually in the relationship. It's not for the sake of them. You're in the relationship because some way, shape, or form it serves you. Okay. Someone is mad his girl left him after listening to you. I seen that earlier. If you have a question, you could post it in the Discord, whether you're a guy or a girl, you could post it in the Discord and I will give my opinion. It's much harder for me to answer a single sentence when I don't know any of the context, right? Mary Jane says, I love watching this. I have tried doing this and like to see how they spiral. I'm telling you, you get to sit back, relax, and get everything done for you. Okay. And you just sit there and you observe. Okay. Enlightened Nay said earlier, she said, one of two, women are the prize for the men, and high value men won't choose you if you don't believe that because he can't trust you with his last name, not to bring shame to it by being / acting weak. I agree. And remember what I said, guys, that, everyone that says they're the prize, that's fine. Everyone can be the prize. But I want you to understand it changes depending on your approach. So if you're going to be the pursuer, then you're damn sure right. You're going to turn the guy into the prize. But if you're going to be the person receiving, then you can actually be the prize. And that's how it should be. My own personal opinion. Maybe you disagree. Okay. Ash says, damn, now I'm scared to show affection even if I turn as a GF. Guys, I want you to understand a lot of, at least for this show, a lot of what I'm talking about is setting the foundation and setting the precedent for the future and making sure you're on track with where you're supposed to be. So there's nothing wrong with showing affection to your man. There's nothing wrong with doing stuff for your man. But I want you to understand doing stuff for your man Your man, the man you're actually in a relationship. Like when he goes out and he's talking to his friends, he says, guys, this is my girlfriend. Your man, not a man that you're seeing or talking to or casually spending time with, right? Some of you are ready to jump out the window for a man that you're spending time with. And there's a very big difference between doing stuff for your man and doing stuff for a man. Okay? Very, very big difference. Some of you are showing affection and giving girlfriend treatment to a guy that hasn't made you his girlfriend, thinking that that's going to make him realize he wants you to be his girlfriend, when you don't realize that you actually don't have to do too much for him to want to make you his girlfriend. As weird as that sounds. Right? Says, I think some people don't get what doing less means. It doesn't mean you shouldn't show love and affection. This is why I always tell you guys, it's very important, especially when we come to this show and we spend a good quality time together on the show. I love doing this show where we can talk for an extended period of time and dive deep into details and context. Because sometimes if I would just say it out in 60 seconds or 30 seconds, right, it's very hard to absorb the actual concept. And I know for some of you, you're so used to someone just telling you exactly what to do and how to do it, that you're waiting for me to tell you the exact scenario and exactly how to respond in this scenario. And in section in on page 35 in paragraph A, section B, right? That's exactly how you should respond at 8:35 p.m. and say exactly this in the text message, right? But in reality, that's not how life or relationships work. So we spend this time together that you can actually, as I'm speaking, you can be absorbing the topic. You can be thinking about your own life. You can be thinking about your own relationships. And actually, some light bulbs start turning on. You're like, oh, I get it now. Oh, I see what you're talking about now. And you start figuring out how to implement these things that we talk about into your real everyday life. There's no way I can possibly give you every scenario and every situation and exactly how you would respond. And if this happened or if that happened or if this happened or that happened. And the reality of it is you wouldn't actually be learning anything even if I did do that. You would just be a mindless puppet following my instructions without any concept of how this actually applies to you or serves you or helps you. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Vicky said, I noticed in the YouTube chat said, I noticed that I can only fall in love when they genuinely fall in love with me first. Is that a problem? There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's probably just you safeguarding your own heart, that you don't want to fall for someone who's actually just going to use you or not interested in being with you. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I also think it might be in some cases be a good thing because it allows you to be more cautious in the process of growing a relationship instead of just jumping, head over heels. And then you realize that it wasn't what you thought it was going to be. Right. Melissa says it's better to hold back affection. I would say yes when you're building the relationship still. OK, I would never say the work is done, but I would say you've accomplished a goal when he actually has committed to you, because obviously that's intention there. Obviously, he's not committing to you for no reason if he's doing that of his own volition and of his own feelings because he wants to. So what I mean by that is you don't have to be as like, oh, I'll never share. I'll never show affection. You're right. Like you don't have to be like, so intense about that. But just understanding that leading up to that, you need to be intense, right? In order to weed out the men who are unserious, weed out the men who are not ready to commit, weed out the men who aren't there for the right reasons and all that good stuff. When you finally meet the man that is ready for all of that stuff, then you can be showing more affection, right? This is not about not giving yourself or sharing yourself with anyone. It's about giving and sharing yourself to the right man who is there for the right reasons, okay? This is not a scare tactic where I say all men are bad and never love or trust a man, but realize the type of man you're trying to love and trust. Focus on trying to build a relationship with that man, and focus also on gaining the knowledge that you can know all the different types of games and tricks and things that the men you aren't looking for will throw at you, that you can easily discard of those men and not waste your time on them. Okay, does that make sense? All right, let's hop into the Discord. It's Discord time. I make a new song about the Discord every single day. It's Discord time. It's Discord time. By the way, do you guys like the red drapes? I just seen Thado. She hopped in. She said she likes the new drapes. I hope you guys like the red drapes, because the red and the gold is supposed to be the theme here. So I'm gonna build off that. It's gonna be a super extravagant set. Okay, let's hop into the Discord, where we shall answer some amazing questions in the Discord here. Oh, we got lots. We got lots to do today. Okay. First question in the Discord comes from Jay. Jay says, advice. Okay. Jay asks, I want this guy to make it official with me, and he's agreed. He wants to. We're meeting up soon. What do you think I shall wait for him to ask me to make him his girlfriend? What's the best approach to this? I hope you're listening to this show. The best approach, guys, say it with me. Do nothing. Do absolutely nothing. You don't need to. There's no point. If he's saying, first of all, you don't even need to, you say you want him. I hope you didn't ask him. But if he said that that's what he wants to do, then that's what he wants to do, and he will do it. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to remind. Jay, if you're listening to, you better not remind him. Better not. There is no need for you to be reminding him of something that he already said he was going to do, especially something as important and, monumental as this. If he said he wanted to meet up with you to make you his girlfriend and ask you out, then that's what he shall do, by golly. And if he doesn't, you don't sit around, all distraught that he hasn't done it and asking him, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? Do nothing. Let him act on this when he feels necessary. And if he never does, then obviously eventually you walk away. But don't be doing nothing. Don't do nothing. Okay? That's as simple as I could say. Do nothing. Lola asks, she says, question for love advice. Lola asks. Lola says, as a girl with daddy issues, this will be good. As a girl with daddy issues and childhood trauma, is it worth dating an older man whom I see as a father figure, but also see him in a romantic way? Like, he provides me with love, affection, and care. We haven't started dating yet, but the opportunity is there. But I had a sudden worry that this may end in heartbreak because he's 37 and I'm 22. There's some confusion within me too, because I feel like I'm only interested in him because he's older and gives me what my father didn't: love, affection, praise. But this also does get me super attached to him and and feel love for him and act sub and all that stuff towards him. But no, there is no pineapples. That's my boundary. No premarital pineapples, and he seems supportive of it. That's good. I said I'm only interested in dating to marry, but there are certain things that trigger me in men I know, which I'm worried he will display. And like, I think you meant say, I don't want to say you know what I mean. And cheating. I feel as though I am vulnerable somehow, but I really like him deeply. It could develop to something deeper because I want that with someone like him. But I'm not sure if this is the right decision. I just fear men in general. And he's like the first, make sure I'm in the right place. He's the first one who seems different. But is he the right choice? No clue. I feel like I'm trying to impress him in a way, scared he'll cheat or leave if I let him be my boyfriend, and I'm seeking his validation and approval as his baby girl. Please just give me the truth about my predicament. Okay, this is a good question. Actually, this perfectly relates to what we're talking about today. It's great. It's crazy how you guys do that before I'll even talk about it. So actually, I'll let you guys in on a little secret about me. I tend to attract girls who have daddy issues because I have a lot of structure in like my life, and I'm a very kind of like disciplined guy. I also I'm a good leader, so I'm able to like make decisions, tell people if you need advice what the best course of action is, right? And it's not you can really turn your brain off around me. So I just say that to say I tend to attract more women with daddy issues. So I don't think that that's anything bad or wrong. You just end up meshing with people that fill the voids in your childhood that you need filled. You get what I'm saying? So that I don't think that there's anything wrong with him feeling that emotional void for you while also being your partner. You get what I'm saying? I don't think that has to be, and there has to be anything wrong with that. That works for you. And if that works for him, vice versa, then that works for him, vice versa. You know what I mean? That's not a crime. Don't think of that as being something that's a crime. Now, as it relates to some of the other stuff that you were referring to, I think some of this is just stemming from anxiety, and which there's nothing wrong with having anxiety about you dating and making sure you're making the right decision. My advice to you would be to just continue asking more questions. I know you're asking me questions, but I think some of these things that you want answers to, if he's a mature older man and you express some of these concerns that you have, I want you to listen to what he has to say and his perspective in a non-judgmental way and get his perspective on some of these things. Okay. So you don't even have to ask him, I'm scared that you'll cheat. Are you going to cheat on me? Obviously he'll say no, but ask him, what was your relationship like with your, maybe he was married before, with your ex-wife? Did you ever, and you can even this is the great part about negative questions, is they'll point you in a direction you never thought you might go. You can even ask him something like, did you ever think about cheating or consider it with your ex-wife? Like, obviously near the end, you probably knew that it was over. Did you ever think like, or feel like you were connecting with someone else and just imagine, just just leaving the relationship, or just, going straight into the next thing or something like that? And you can, when you sit back and observe and you listen and you ask questions like that, sometimes even that have negative connotations, you can get a lot of great information that you never even imagined would be available to you. And sometimes those answers might either ease or you trigger your anxiety. And if they're triggering your anxiety, obviously that's because there's a red flag there. But it's very good to be asking questions and observing and listening. Also, be observant of the way he moves and the way he treats you. If you're saying, also keep in mind, if you're saying he's respectful of the fact that you're wanting to wait until marriage, and he's 37 and he's respectful of that, then that shows intention there. If he continues to be consistent despite knowing that, and he's not constantly pressuring you to change your decision making, then that implies obviously, just because I don't necessarily know, but that implies that he's willing to be patient because he actually plans on building with you. Okay. That's like a newsflash to some of you, I know, but if a guy doesn't care whether or not you're willing to wait till marriage, most of the time it's because he's trying to build with you anyways. So if he's trying to build towards something serious, he doesn't care if you're waiting until something serious, because it's going to happen either way. Right? The men who get the most confuzzled and the most frustrated when you start saying you're waiting until it becomes something serious are the men who had no intention of making it something serious, which is why they get all bent out of shape. But it doesn't seem like he's bent out of shape by you saying that. So that's a good sign. And I think some of this other stuff that you're having anxiety about is really just anxiety about feeling like you might get played, when the actual way to ease your anxiety is by asking him more questions, getting a better understanding of his background and his past relationships, especially at 37. If he has kids, you need to know about that. If he has an ex-wife, you need to know about that. You need to know about everything that's transpired up until he's met you, that you can get a better idea of who he really is. Because at 37, he could have went through multiple major transformations, and you should be getting the background history on all of those things, not just the story in words, but also the evidence, the pictures, the videos, all of that good stuff, right? This should be like almost like your relationship should feel like an ongoing therapy session where every single day you learn something new about the person that you're in a relationship with, especially if he spent 37 years on this earth without you knowing of his existence. You should be very curious about everything that's been happening up until that point. Okay? And I don't think that the age gap is any issue here in terms of the relationship or the maturity or anything like that. I think you can make that work. Just make sure you're asking questions, being observant, and being curious. Okay, that's my advice to you. Okay. A asks, let's see here. A's question is, a guy from my high school, 23, just turned 24, has hit me up. Same class, same year, on my On my Snapchat a couple of years back, you guys know how I feel about Snapchat. We only ever exchanged a few messages and nothing came of it. I was living in New York and he was living in our home city. He asked for my number, that's better at least, and saved it on Snap. But we never text. Silly. Fast forward to last month, I'm back in the city. He hit me up again on Snapchat. And he's arranging to make dinner plans with you on Snapchat. And arranged to make dinner plans with me and walk around the city. I told him to text my number. We both don't use Snap like that, and are each other's BFFs for some reason, because you don't use Snap that much. So you become someone's BFF easy, obviously. And followed up with the organized time reservation. And when I mentioned parking, he said I could park at his place overnight free. He also asked about me coming over, to which I subtly shut it down. A day before our plans, he tells me his mom is recovering from surgery and can't make it. Okay, I'll hold off what I say until the end. To which I understood and wished his mom well. Then I asked to hang out the next day, to which then asked me to hang out the next day, to which I told him I was busy. He told me next weekend, but he was out of town. So after I said, okay, the next weekend after that, he claimed he was too tired and said something along the lines of, I still want to see you ASAP though. Excuse me. Of course, I don't believe it, but I told him I understand and left it at that. Almost 2 weeks goes by and I'm on delivered. I'm assuming you mean on Snap, of course. After the first week, I take it as a sign of uninterest and I go on with my life. He leaves you on delivered for a week. He's not interested in you. I post my IG stories, little bits and pieces of my fun selfies. He hits me up again today on Snapchat, asking if I'm around and saying things have slowed down at work and he has more free time. What should I say/do? He feels like a microwave man masking as a gentleman, kind of turned off by inconsistency, red flags, don't want to text on Snap. Should I give him a chance? I'm down to get dinner, but I want to know how to play it or if it's worth it. I want a long-term relationship potential. P.S. We never talked in high school. My friends don't know much about him. I also had an insane glow up. Oh, that is an interesting fact. And it's saying you probably got you got a dumpy now? Before you didn't have, you used to be a skinny twig. Now you got a dumpy now. They're looking at you different. Okay, A. So my advice to you, you probably, if you listen to me, you know how I feel about Snapchat. This constant use of Snapchat is not a very good sign. Especially when he has your number and he's using that as his way of reaching out to you after he has your number. It's one thing for him to snap you if he doesn't have your other contact info. It's another thing for him to continue snapping you and reaching out to you on Snapchat when he has your number. That usually points to he's got something else going on and he wants to keep what he's doing hidden, which is why he uses Snap, because you guys know what people are using Snap for nowadays. Okay, so that's already a red flag in itself. This random inconsistency of things popping up randomly, and then randomly he's free, and then he'll hit you up and he'll be like, yo, what are you doing right now? And just asking you if you're free. That vicious cycle is so useless, so pointless. You can't let this go on for too much longer. You should stop it from ever going on ever again, because where is this going? He randomly hits you up. The plans don't even, you guys don't even execute on these plans. He'll ignore you. He wasn't busy for a week. Okay. So he left you undelivered for one of two reasons. Either he is actively in another relationship with another girl, which is why he left you undelivered. He doesn't want you messaging him while he's with his real girl. Sorry. Or number two, he really it doesn't take you that serious or is that interested in you in the first place. And he's just kind of scrolling through his list of all the girls that he messages. And he probably didn't have any space in his brain to care about what you're doing or spending time with you, which is why he leaves you undelivered until you pop back in his brain. Probably because he's getting some extra blood flow to his lower extremities, in which case he thinks of you and decides to message you. So it's one of those two things. which is why this constant cycle is happening. But it doesn't seem like he has any real intention of building a relationship with you. So I think you're probably wasting your time. He probably hits you up every time he goes on your Instagram and he sees how big your dumpy's gotten since you have glowed up. And that probably makes him say, oh my goodness, that dump truck that she never used to have is making a lot of blood flow to my lower extremities. And I really want to see what she's about. So he probably hits you up in that moment saying, are you free? Just because that dump truck's hitting. And then he probably whacks off. After he whacks off, he's like, you know what? I don't even have any interest in actually seeing her. I just wanted to get a little whack-a-mole off and a little, whack content, maybe talk to her, have a little conversation while I look at her pictures and whack myself. He whacks himself. It's done. It's over. He doesn't have any interest in seeing you. So my advice to you would be to just stop responding to this guy. It's on Snapchat anyways. If you want to remove him off Snap, if you don't really care that much, don't. But I wouldn't respond to any of his messages ever again. It's just a useless, pointless waste of your time. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. You're not growing any type of relationship. It really doesn't matter. Katrina said it could be a face glow up. It's possible. It could be a face glow up as well. Although from high school to 23, right? So, that's only like 5-6 years, right? To have a massive, she said a huge glow up. So it could be face and body. But most of the time when people say glow up, like it's, kind of growing into your womanly features. And your face is not going to change that drastically in 5 or 6 years. So it could be a combination of both, right? That's my advice to you, Next we have Mars. Mars says, newsflash, you are being used. Mars says, why are you so dumb? So I met this person fresh out of high school. We started talking as friends. Then we started dating. Shortly after that, let's say 2 months, I left for basic training, like the army. Okay. For basic training, we were still dating, but long distance. A year after I got out of training, he gave me a promise ring. Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry, it just took me off guard. We moved in together. Dumb question, I know. Dumb decision, I know. But I really liked him, and also he was my first real relationship. Okay. Plus, it wasn't just us two. We were living in a house with my sister, who I joined, and a girl I met at the duty station, which I also consider my sister. By the way, I was 18 at the time. So was the guy. We're now 24. Okay. Everything was cool. Everything was going good. He found a job, but he didn't have a car. He was 18 at the time. So we went looking for one, but his credit wasn't good enough and needed a cosign. So I went ahead and added myself as a cosign. Wouldn't recommend, by the way. 3 months later, I got a letter in the mail that my car was up for repossession. I was shocked. This is a Jew. Oh, guys, look at, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. Okay, Mars says, okay, hold on. Sorry, I got to buckle up here. I didn't know this was going to get crazy. I was shocked. Let me scroll this up. I was shocked because he didn't have a vehicle for that long, so it didn't make sense to me. He also didn't mention it to me that he was struggling to make his car payment. I was upset. I didn't want to help him with the past due payment, but I thought about my credit and was forced to help. I had a talk with him and we were able to move past that. Fast forward to 2023, I got out of the army. So it was the army. Oh, I'm so smart. And we got our own place together. Mind you, when I was deployed, which was at the end of 2022, we would talk on the phone. Oh, this is going to be great. We would talk on the phone, and he was making all the promises that when I get out, I don't have to work, that he will get 2 jobs to where he can take care of everything while I just adjust to civilian life. That was cap. Okay. That was cap. I got out and didn't even have time to adjust. I paid for everything in the apartment we moved into. I came back from deployment with almost 20K and everything went towards moving and bills. I literally had to pay for everything by myself. That's crazy because you could have done that by yourself, but now you had to pay for everything and pay for him. My pocket started running low, so I got a job and went ahead and quit the job he got. So I got a job. He also went ahead and quit the job he got when we moved in together because he didn't like the job. We were starting to settle in, so when he did that, I had to pay all the bills by myself. So all of that was having me stressed, which led to me being depressed. When I told him that I was going on, when I told him what was going on with me as my partner, he said, "I would never think of you as the type to be depressed because you're so strong." I was like, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "I don't know. I just thought that." So I brushed it off. July 2023, I got fired from my job, and I got into a really bad car accident that totaled my car. So now the only now he's the only one with a car and a job. That's when he started showing his true colors. He did a complete 360 on your girl. Oh, this is gonna get crazy now. Around the time he would leave every night around 11 to 12 a.m. to do DoorDash. He's DoorDash now. I don't know if he was actually doing DoorDash because he always complained about not having money, but I didn't make anything. I didn't make anything out of it because it'll lead to a huge argument. This nice guy I knew turned into a whole new person. We got into an argument this one time and he started going off. He told me I don't let him lead. I wanted to be treated like a wife, but I don't do wifey stuff for him, to cook for him after my 8-hour shift. And also I found out he was reading through my shadow work journal that I got to help me through depression, and he was using the stuff he read in my journal to take jabs at me. Damn. Sometimes he would say stuff to me, and I'll be wondering how he knew it. Finally, it made some sense when it came out, and he told me he went through my journal. His reasons for doing that was because he was bored. After all that, I was able to pick myself up. I got a new car in February. In April, he used my car this one night while I was asleep to go out with his friends to his friend's birthday party and got my car stolen. Okay. He told me it got towed, that he'll get it back in the morning. I found out it got stolen when we got to the impound. After that, he barely made an effort to help find it. 3 days later, I got a call from the police that my car was found. The insurance was able to get it to the shop, and they got me a rental, but I had to make a $200 deposit. When I asked him to send me the money, he only sent me $100, of course. He said he'll send the rest later. Till this day, I'm still waiting for the $100. I stopped talking to him, basically trying to detach myself. After listening to you for a while, it finally clicked for me that he didn't really like me for real and that he's been using me this whole time. He kind of confirmed it for me a week ago. I've just been doing stuff that makes me happy and just enjoying my own company. So he got bothered by that and wanted to have a conversation. I told him that he always does stuff to set me back, and I just want and just watch me to figure out. I think he meant say want me to figure out. His exact words were, "Why would I go above and beyond for someone who don't care for me?" I asked him, in which way do I not care for you? And he went back to the whole cooking issue. Oh my gosh. I also feel like he's taking advantage of the whole situation. For one, I'm not around my family members. And two, we moved into a whole new city, so I don't have any friends here. He tried to get me to cut off all my friends that I talked to. On the phone, but I'll be damned. I made the decision to move back home to Dallas to stay with my sister, to go to school, and eventually get my own place. Cheaper rent too, and cheaper real estate. A couple of weeks ago, I went through his phone. Sorry for you guys, it cuts off at the bottom here on YouTube. A couple weeks ago, I went through his phone and saw that he started a savings account with his sister that I know nothing about, and he told me that he can help her. And he also told her that he can help her with a car note whenever she needs it. Just stuff that he's never offered to help me with. They're also planning to move in together. This is his. What did you say, sister? I thought you said sister. His sister. Okay, he's gonna move in with his sister. Okay. Sorry. And they offer to move in with. They're also planning to move in together. But whenever I ask him about his plans, he says he can't. He hasn't came up with one yet. Also forgot to mention he got his car repossessed for the second time and told me I only cared about the car got took because I was also using it, not because my credit was involved. You still live with him? We still live together, but I sleep on the couch. This is actually really sad. I'm in the process of breaking my lease to move back home. With all this going on, let me make it move it up for you guys. With all this going on, where I lost my spot. With all this going on with me and avoiding him, he still wants pineapples from me. I don't be wanting to do it, but if I don't, he'll keep asking me for now like it's a chore. That's actually kind of gross. Do you think I should let him know that I know his plans with his sister? Is this really his sister? And that's part of the reason why I don't want to be involved with him. Also, should I address his sister too? Because I feel like she's way too involved in our relationship or whatever this is. But then I think she's just going off whatever he's telling her about me. This is going to go into the Players Club Discord Hall of Fame because this is insane. You now stand in three-headed monster with France and Asia Mars as one of the craziest stories we've ever had in the Discord. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff I have to break down here. Wow. So let's start with this relationship that you're in and kind of how you got yourself here. I think, you see, here's the thing about people. You let them take an inch, they'll take a mile with you. So when you let one thing slide and you forgive them, usually a lot of times when they don't face real consequences for that action, all that communicates to them is that there are no consequences for their actions. And so this first repossession and all that good stuff, that was obviously there was things leading up to that, but that was the first big thing that he realized that, so if I do something that's super inappropriate or cross these boundaries, yeah, she might be mad for a little bit, but at the end of the day, she'll eventually forgive me and we'll move on. And I probably won't even face any consequences that are that bad. It's not like you did anything to him or there was any punishment for that, really. He doesn't even seem like he had to pay you back. So that was already the mistake right there. As it relates to all the other stuff that's transpired, it was kind of a function of him continuing to take a mile after he's seen that taking a couple inches. He served no consequences for that. It's kind of like doing a crime and then realizing that you won't face jail time for a crime. So you just continue doing more and more crime. And they escalate in severity and intensity because you realize you're going to get away with it either way. So that's where the rest of the meat of all of this is stemming from, right? And then now he's taking your car. He's doing DoorDash. He's doing DoorDash late at night. Can't do DoorDash during the day. He has no job. He's doing DoorDash late at night. He's quitting the job that is supposed to be helping to pay the bills simply because he didn't like the job. with presumably no intention of finding a new one. He's just like, I didn't like that one, so I quit it. Now you pay for everything. Then when you're stressed, he's sitting there, oh, why would you be stressed? It makes no sense. I thought you were stronger than that. So, you know what? I have a question for you, Mars. What is it that you're receiving from this? So, because you're asking me what you should do. And if you should talk to him or, ask him about this, his sister, all this stuff, let him know about why. What could he possibly tell you that would change your decision or what you think the best course of action is? If he can possibly say something to you that would change your course of action, then it would be necessary to listen and hear him out and ask him these questions. If nothing he can really say is going to change how you feel or what you feel the best course of action is moving forward in terms of this relationship and moving back to Dallas, then it is pointless to talk to his sister. It's pointless to even ask him about any of the things you discussed in here, because your decision is your decision anyways. And actually what's going to happen is, obviously he knows right now he is benefiting 100%. You're benefiting 0%. You guys aren't having pineapples. You're probably not even stimulated right now with him anyways. You're probably dry as a desert. Your stuff is so dry. Your Squirtle is not squirtling. It's crazy dry. And you got a desperate, useless couch potato sitting on the couch asking you if he can have pineapples when he can't even go out and get a job and make some money. This is why I tell you guys, don't be so scared and afraid of the men with discipline and structure that are too busy for you, that they can't spend until 4 a.m. talking on the phone with you. The type of guys that can spend until 4 a.m. talking on the phone with you, that's this type of guy right here. So if you want a guy that will spend till 4 a.m. talking on the phone with you, FaceTime with you every single day until you fall asleep, that has no schedule and nothing else to do other than talk on the phone with you all day long and all night long, that's this guy. That's what those guys grow up to be. Those guys grow up to be this guy. Sitting on the couch, no job, no money, using you rent-free, driving your car, crashing it, getting it stolen, going out, probably meeting girls, having pineapples with other girls in your car, right? You're paying for everything. You're stressed out and you're not even getting any schlong. You're losing in every single way, right? This is what happens when you trade in being with the guy that can spend all day and night with you because you want attention 24/7 for the guy who has structure and goals and discipline that can't spend all night with you 24/7. Okay? Just FYI. Now, Mars, for you, there is no purpose to asking him all of these other questions. Why? Make your decision that you already know is the right decision, because all of this amazing stuff you wrote down, screenshot it. This should be the background on your phone. Because every time you open your phone, I want you to remember all the different things that he's done through you throughout the course of the relationship, that you can continue to be disgusted every time you think about him, and realize why the best decision for you is to leave this relationship. Because you're not getting anything. Your Squirtle's dry. You're not getting any schlong. It's probably trash anyways. If he's a broke man, he's probably not laying anything down on you anyways. Okay. It sounds like if you're not even interested and you're sleeping on the couch, he's not laying anything interesting down on you anyways. He's broke, no money. You're paying for everything. It would be cheaper for you to live by yourself where you don't have to pay for everything. At least you're paying for one person instead of two. Right. So you're stressed, right? He's broke. The fact that he's broke and he's spending your money is making you broke. So now you're even more stressed because you don't have money, right? You're even more stressed because you have all this emotional turmoil in your life because of him and all the things he's doing. Your credit's bad. There is no win here for you staying in this relationship. So my point being is, don't bother asking any questions. Just pack your stuff up and leave. So my advice to you would be, focus all of your time and attention and energy on how to strategically move your stuff out of that place and all of your belongings and transfer your entire life to Dallas as easily and painless as possible. So if that means calling your sister or your family members over at a time where he's at work or out or whatever, or maybe even if he's there, and just taking all your stuff at once, putting it in a truck and not hearing what he has to say and anticipating he's going to tell you all the word stories in the book, and then just moving your stuff and never to be heard of again. Or if that even means making sure that you strategically unlink all your bank accounts, make sure he has nothing, no access to any of your credit, no access to anything that's put in your name, no access to anything that could bring you back or continue tying you to him, that by the time you actually walk out that door and go to Dallas, that will be the last time he can ever see, hear of you, or contact you or rope you back into the situation. Okay. That's the most important way to spend your energy now, is making sure that when you do cut this off for good, there is nothing tying you back to the situation. Because this is someone we would call a leech, right? And leeches are very, very sensitive to losing their source of their source, right? Their source of life. You are his source of life right now. So he's going to continue leeching off you. And the moment he realizes you're going to try to walk away, he's going to become very desperate and do anything possible to continue leeching off of you. So if you don't make it a clean break where there's no way or he can get access to you ever again, there's no way he can even do something drastic that would rope you back in, then you're going to be very frustrated, because the leech will always do what leeches and parasites do, is try their best to keep themselves attached to the host. Okay, so you have to make sure you detach yourself in every way, financially, obviously emotionally is already happening, physically, you move, no belongings, right? Nothing that he can rope you back in with. And then by the time you finally move to Dallas, you can block him on everything and never speak or hear from him again, and actually build your life back up, because your life has literally been destroyed by a single human being. Imagine that. Your life, your amazing, beautiful life, has been destroyed by a single human being because you've allowed it to happen. Okay. This is the last part of this, is that you need to take accountability, because all of this stuff, while it is intense and sad and crazy and, upsetting, this happened because you allowed it to happen. I want you to never forget that. He can only leech off of you as long as you allow him to leech off of you. He can only use you and take advantage of you as long as you allow him to use you and take advantage of you. The moment you stand up for yourself, nobody else is supposed to be standing up for you. The moment you stand up for yourself and grow your own self-respect is the moment you will never allow someone to treat you like this. And that is a choice that you have to make. There's no one else that is going to make that choice for you. You have to decide what you're worth and what the only things you're going to accept in a relationship, or in, like, I wouldn't even accept this from a friend. I wouldn't even accept this from a coworker or an acquaintance. Okay. So you have to take accountability for that. That is one of the main things you have to do, because you have to realize how you allowed him to do these things to you. He didn't force you to do those things. You continue to allow them to happen, which is why he continued to escalate the situation. And now you're in the position that you're in. You can fix it, but you have to fix it the right way. All your energy should be going into ending this relationship for good as soon as you move to Dallas and planning your exit strategy. Okay. So that was crazy. That was insane. That was a long one, I know. So we'll end it off on there. Mars, you are in the Players Club Discord Hall of Fame. I hope you're listening to this. I hope we can get some follow-ups on how things are going for you and how they're developing, because that was quite a riveting and interesting story, to say the least. And I hope you get a chance to see my response, as well as I'm sure all of you gave your opinion as well. And please, if you have been through a similar situation, or you have some words of encouragement or knowledge for Mars, please go into the Discord and send your either words of encouragement or knowledge if you've been through a situation similar, or advice if you have some advice for her. Please go into the Discord and you can respond underneath her message in the relationship advice forum, and you can say that there. I would encourage you guys to do that, because I'm a man. I'm only one man, and the rest of you are amazing, beautiful women with lots of different perspectives and experience. So it would be even more beneficial if you could give her your own experience as well as women, because you can relate to her even more. Okay. So that was the show for today. If you guys want to go follow me on Instagram, you guys want to see everything I'm doing all day, every day, all the time, and just learn more about me, you can go on my Instagram and go follow me there. There's lots of interesting stuff on my Instagram. And if you want to rewatch the show, you're like, oh my God, this is my first time here. This is the most amazing show I've ever seen. I can't believe something like this even exists. I need to see this all the time, every day, 12 times a day, right? Just go head over to my YouTube. You can type in my name on YouTube like that, or you can just screenshot it and copy and paste it. And you go over to my YouTube and you can go over to the live section. You can see every live show that I've ever done in its entirety, with the YouTube chat embedded and the TikTok chat embedded into the live stream. So for those of you who are watching me on TikTok, you'll be able to go over to the YouTube and see your name and your picture with your message. Every time you comment and stuff like that, it's there embedded in the video. So you'll be able to keep up with all the amazing conversation. It's awesome. It's a great experience. Okay. So go over there and watch that. Subscribe to the YouTube as well. I also post on my main page, on my YouTube page, the condensed version. I know we do super long shows, guys. This is for the people that want all the detail, all the context. They want to join me live. I also post all the episodes I do on my main YouTube page in the condensed version with just the information and none of the fluff, none of the talking to the chat or any of the extra stuff like the Discord questions. Okay. So whatever your cup of tea is, it's all there for you on my YouTube page. I love you guys so much. I'll be back again. Today's Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time exactly. I'm here Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern. So whatever time that is in your time zone, that is when we will join each other again. Okay. So 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow on Friday. Until then, sayonara. Have a good rest of your night, day, or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. And I will see you tomorrow, right?